On a humid night, with the stars leaning on the South China Sea, the winds passed over the surface of the water as if whispering an ancient secret, the secret of a woman born in the shadows and living in the storm. Her name was Cheng, but history spoke her name in a whisper at first, before roaring it out like a flood. She was born in a small Chinese city, about which history records little, a beautiful girl with an eternal sadness in her face. Stars followed her like ships follow the sails of hope. She entered the world of prostitution at an early age, not voluntarily, but like spoils of war being led to merchant markets. But she wasn't just a seller of pleasure, she bought and sold for more than just her body. She listened to men, kept their secrets, and knew who among them had money, who had power, and who feared death more than life. One night, an unusual man entered the brothel. He was a veteran pirate, Cheng. His skin smelled of the sea, and his eyes seemed to know her fate before she did. He wasn't looking for a body, but for a partner, a woman who knew how to read greed in men's eyes. He arranged a marriage with her, not for love, but for control. So, Cheng left the beds of the customers for the beds of the sea, leaving behind her old name, and becoming known as Cheng, the pirate's wife, and later, the pirate queen. She ruled not with a sword or beauty, but with a ruthless mind. After her husband's death in 1807, she took control of his fleet, a fleet of thousands of men, hundreds of ships, and a set of laws she herself had drawn up. Disobeying them meant death, the amputation of ears, or being thrown into the sea in chains. Cheng led the Red Flag Fleet, not as a woman, but as destiny. She controlled the coasts, terrorized the Chinese Empire, and challenged the British and Portuguese navies, forcing them to negotiate, not fight. Because she was more cunning than a mere pirate, she knew when to drop anchor. Before the tide swallowed her up or the men betrayed her, she negotiated with the Empire, obtained a formal pardon, and kept everything she had stolen. She even lived out her final days in wealth, running a gambling house in Canton, laughing every evening as if the sea still whispered her name. Cheng was more than a woman, she was a legend of flesh and cunning, of shame and glory, of a body sold in the dark and a mind that traded everything in the light.